Everybody, welcome to Cash Part 5. This is preparing the bank reconciliation. So here's the question we're going to be going through and looking at today. And let's go ahead and head over to our Google Sheets and figure out how to solve this problem. Okay, so if you saw from my earlier video, and I believe this was in part 3, our goal over here is we've got the bank balance, book balance. We're going to make adjustments to both to get our adjusted balance. So this is my bank balance. This is my book balance, right? So my bank balance was 205. My book balance was 186. Okay. All right. So the first one is that the bank statement showed interest earned during the month of 500. So my bank showed 500 of interest earned. This is going to increase my book balance. Okay, so it's going to be a positive amount. The bank showed 500 of interest. I haven't shown it on my books. So this is what I'm going to go over here and show. The bank erroneously recorded a $17,500 withdrawal from my account. How am I going to go through and handle this? Well, they shouldn't have, it's erroneous. The bank made an error. They took a withdrawal, meaning they deducted, right? They took out 17,500. They shouldn't have done that though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add back 17,500 to my bank balance. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be going through and doing over here. Okay. And again, if you want is kind of like a guidebook to kind of go along, this is meant to be a quicker video. But if you go over here, you can kind of see where I've laid out what's going to happen on each one's decrease or increase to the books or to the bank. Okay. The bank statement showed a service charge of 300. That means they took out 300 bucks. So I'm going to show this over here as a deduction to my books, right? Because over here, my bank took out 300 for that service charge. I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. And my Excel skills are terrible, which is why it's always good to take that class, especially at Irvine Valley. Okay. Over here, this will be a bank service charge. Okay. The bank correctly cleared a check that related to supplies expense for 5,000. We incorrectly recorded only 500 on our books. So let's think about this. So the bank showed negative 5,000. They cleared a $5,000 check related to supplies expense. But on my books, I had only shown negative 500. Now, the correct amount is 5,000, right? That's the correct amount that should be showing over here for the correct balance. So if I have 500 on my books, I'm going to need another 4,500 to make that correct. So this is going to show as a $4,500 deduction on my book balance. So that's coming from right over here. So over here, book error. Okay. Let's take a look at letter E. The bank correctly cleared a check for utilities expense. So we've got the bank correctly cleared a check for utilities expense for 7,000. Now over here on my books, I had actually showed a negative 7,800. Now, the correct amount over here is 7,000. Now, this is going to be a little bit funky. I took too much expense. So over here, my correction is going to be 800 because when I add back 800 to the 7,800, I'm going to get the negative 7,000. So over here, this is going to be a book error. And let's go to the next one. The bank returned a check for $25,000 that had non-sufficient funds. So I deposited 25 grand on my books, but the bank said, and that check did not clear. So what this is going to do is I'm going to reduce my cash balance or my book balance by 25,000. So this is a not NSF check. Again, I deposited a check with the bank for 25 grand. The bank said, no way. So now I have to reduce my book balance or my cash balance by 25,000. Letter G, the bank erroneously gave me 40,000 bucks. So unlike this, where they deducted 17.5, and then I added that back, in this case here, the bank gave me $40,000 that they should not have. So what am I going to have to do is I'm going to have to reduce the bank balance by 40,000. And this is my bank error. Okay. Take a look at letter H. The bank collected a $5,000 note on behalf of us. So this is going back to our discussion about the lockbox in one of the earlier videos. So for this case here, I had not recorded the $5,000 receipt. So the bank is showing 5 grand. I need to show that 5,000 bucks on my books. Okay. Letter I. Basically over here, we had outstanding checks, meaning I've shown checks written over here of 28,000. To make my bank and adjust my bank and book balance or my adjusted balances work, if I took it over here and it was legitimate, I'm going to have to deduct 28,000 over here for outstanding checks. Okay. Letter J, I showed 8,000 over here as a deposit, but it had not yet been received by the bank. So to make my bank balance equal my book balance, I'm going to have to add this over here as a deposit in transit. Okay. So over here, once we go through and we add up all these things over here. So I'm going to add up my bank balance and all my adjustments. I'm going to get 162.5, and then I get 162.5. So again, these can also be a little bit more complicated if we still have things going on from the prior period, but this is how we go through and do a bank reconciliation. I tried to go through and to try to come up with everything that could possibly be out there for you, at least for my exams. But hopefully you'll find this video to be helpful. But this is how we're going through and doing bank reconciliations. So I'm not going to do the journal entries. That's going to be on the next video. And I want to thank you for being here today with me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you'd like to see other videos, other content, please feel free to reach out to me. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.